Hello everyone, welcome to my very first 12 days in Japan. My very first time in Japan, I came for my university interviews and to do my own research. I want to take you guys through my day one, my flight from South Africa to Japan, and also take you through my day two, how I went to check my Kyoto University before I go for my interviews and my intake tests. And also I will take you guys through my day three, where I had a very terrible jet lag and I was supposed to write tests and do interviews. I'll also show you some of the sites I visited and did some sightseeing that features Kyoto Tower. I also went to see the Fushimi Inari, which I will also show you guys how that went. It was very nice. Basically, it was full. People were all over the place. It was during the week. And also I had some resting day in between. So I did spend some time at the very famous Kamogawa River doing some solo picnicking. And I also had some time just doing some tourist activities within Kyoto. And also I did some night walks as well, just to see how safe the place is at night. I want to share with you how I got the money, the local currency, how I got to do that, where did I get that money from. And also I just want to share with you guys how I found the buses and the trains, and feature Osaka, because I spent my last 3 days in Osaka before I could head to the airport and head home back to South Africa. My family dropped me at the airport early in the morning. I was on time for my flight. I said my goodbyes and I went into my flight. We flew right into the afternoon, and by the time we landed in Dubai, it was in the evening. It was during the night basically. My flight was with Emirates. It was the first flight, I think about 8 hours, and then we landed in Dubai right in the middle of the night. And my connecting time from the first flight to the second one to Japan this time, the layover was very short. It was just 3.5 hours, or just less than 3 hours. And I did not have enough time to rest, so I just went straight to the gates and then headed over to the flight to Japan. It was leaving early in the morning. I could see the sun. I could just soak into the sun and just see, because I'm going to the land of the rising sun. And it was such a nice flight. I really found it to be very pleasant. I chose a nice seat with enough leg room as well. At this point, I've changed my clothes. I've moisturized my skin so that I don't feel uncomfortable whatsoever. We landed in Kansai Airport in the sea, and it was such a nice place, such a nice thing to witness, because before I came to Japan, I did my research. I was just researching what am I going to be seeing, what am I going to be doing, and also just the airport itself that is on the reclaimed land right in the middle of the sea in the Osaka Bay. That was very nice to see. We landed and I got into my taxi. I went to the get my money, and we left Osaka, and I was going to be dropped right in the middle of where I booked my hotel. And it was such a nice thing. And then I got dropped off. I got something to eat, as you can see on these pictures, because it was very late at night. The following day, I woke up very late because of jet lag. I just started walking just to go and see where the campus is, and just to prepare for tomorrow's interview and for the tests. I was using the pocket Wi-Fi that the hotel gave me. It was so hot, I had to stop. The police had to ask, is everything okay? And of course, everything was okay. And I proceeded walking all the way to the campus, because I need to be prepared for the following day. I hate not knowing where I'm going the following day. And I'm a person who really just want to prepare. I got to the campus. I started looking around. I looked on the map that I had with me. I went to the information center. I collected a map for the whole campus. And I just started looking around and just seeing how is this campus layout. And I needed to identify the department where I'm going to be doing my interview and my intake tests the following day. And I just walked around the campus just to have a feel and the mood. I wanted to see the library. I wanted to see the facilities. Lucky enough, everybody who was there, most people that were there were just new people who came for the very same reason for the intakes. I had such a fun time. The only problem that I experienced was that Kyoto is very hot. During the time that I visited, it was hot. I was sweating buckets and buckets and buckets. But lucky enough, as you know, Japan has a lot of vending machines. I went to the vending machine and I got some cool drink and I've got some water that I just took to try and quench the thirst. And that did not help, of course, because it was super hot still. I tried everything. That was a shock to me because of the humidity, basically. So that's how just my day went. And I went to just see the different faculties. And the other thing is I needed to meet up with my supervisor who was going to supervise me should I be taken. And I just went and checked all over the place, just to familiarize myself with the layout of the campus, because the campus is quite big. But finally, I arrived at the department where I will be doing the interview, and I just managed to place it on the layout so that tomorrow I can plan my time very well. This is actually my department, and then the stop where I'm going to be getting off, I had to identify everything before the following day, because it will be such a shame to miss your test or to miss your interview because you did not know how long it takes to get there. Once I was done with all this activity, I actually got on a bus, the local bus. I wanted to see how long does it take from the campus to the hotel where I'm staying, so that tomorrow morning I can be able to just set up my timer on the right time, because really I was jet lagged. I was really jet lagged. I did not even know, most of the time I did not know what time was it, and it was like such a hectic time to be jet lagged because it's also summer and my body is refusing to operate on Japanese time. And by this time it's 3 days later, if I may put it that way. Yes, I did not have enough time to do much for that day, but I'm glad that I spent the day on campus most of my time. And this is me in the bus going back to the hotel, because I needed to just get some rest and also to just continue preparing for the interview. I was going through the internet, I was going through the other advice that the other students gave, and this is me closing the day. On the day of my interview, I actually arrived on time because of my preparation the previous day. Here is me on time, everybody walking up and down with their bags on campus, but I was terribly jet lagged, really jet lagged, and I looked terrible. I was basically sleepwalking. There was nothing I can do to remove the sleep because it was the middle of the night where I come from. Nonetheless, I took some breakfast, I was dressed up, I went to the meeting place at my department, I took my tests. When I was done, I then took a break because my interview was later in the afternoon. I had lunch. I then took a nap on the bench under the tree because it was too hot. To my surprise, when I woke up, it was raining and pouring cats and dogs. To cut the long story short, I ran across the rain and I went to the department, freshened up. This time I looked much better, right on time for my interview, and I had nailed my interview basically. I waited in the waiting room with the other students. We went in and my interview went so well. I was so chuffed about how my interview went and I was so excited. And I took a bus later in the afternoon. It was raining, cats and dogs, and it was hot. And I went to see the Kyoto Tower. I went in, paid my fee, went all the way to the rooftop, and I went to see the place. And I was so happy about how both my test and my interviews went, and really just saw the place, how it looks like. But I was bothered by the rain the entire time because I did not know when it was raining, when it was not raining. My weather focus was just not showing me the real thing. So I retreated to my hotel, and then I just sat down to just watch some news, specifically the weather part, because I was worried about the amount of rain that was falling. and I just did not know what to do anymore because I live with the umbrellas, I do this and do that. It looks like I'm just walking in the rain, only to find out when my husband calls me, oh, by the way, it's the season of typhoons. You need to be careful because rain will never stop. It's time. I did go to the mall. I needed to check the shopping, how we get to do the shopping. I had breakfast at the mall, gotten the money through my Visa card, just withdraw the money through my Visa card. The day following that, I had planned to go to visit Fushimi Inari and just spend the day there and also come back to see the Kyoto station because the station is quite big. I did well by just going on my own. I summited the whole Inari mountain. I've seen the nice place. I just spent the day there, just walking up and down. But that's the day I had actually noticed that there's something not right with my body because I've been trying to figure out what was wrong with the way I was feeling, and I thought maybe because of a lot of humidity. But that's a story for another day that I'm willing to explain. Not now, not in this video, but anyway, I've summited the mountain. I've walked around and just see what is this whole thing about thousands and thousands of shrines, of torii gates. I'm sorry. But anyway, I've walked around and I've checked it out, just see the place, and it was such a nice day to walk around. Also, on the very same day, I woke up very late because I was still jet lagged, unfortunately. It was many days later, even after the mall, even after meeting up with my friend, with the person that I've contacted on the other side in Kyoto to show me around. I was still jet lagged. Yeah. So I did go through the whole thing of the torii gates and it was super hot. That's the only thing that kept on shocking me. In the middle of being super hot, it was also raining like nobody's business. So I just did the whole thing and you can see how much I was sweating on that day, and I had to sit down and have something to cool me down. There was this nice place where they are selling the shaved ice, and yeah, it's a dessert with some jellish, and I had that. I went outside and had some street food. It was during the week, by the way, and it was so packed outside. What I liked about the whole mood is, I got to see a whole lot of people. There was a lot of tourists. It was before the pandemic hit. I just want to show you this part so that you can see before the pandemic how things were. I liked the whole experience. I could eat the street food and I got to enjoy it so much. And I got done with the day. I then just walked around, even the Fushimi Inari area. I walked around. I saw a lot of people. I saw a lot of places where things are sold. When I was done with all this walk, my other plan for the day was to go and see the station. So I went to the station. I walked around. It was also packed, but it was not as bad. So I just spent the day there. I went to the rooftop. I spent the day watching from the rooftop as well. The previous day, I had spent the day on the tower itself. I've seen how nice the place was at night. I needed to see it during the day, and I needed to see the station, and I had so much fun going up and down in the station. The station is quite like a mall, and I did just that. I visited all sorts of areas, and I managed to see a whole lot of things and fall in love with the whole station itself, because Kyoto is so much nice. When I was done with the day, I needed to just go back to the hotel as well and just rest. And it was so nice to spend the day exploring the area. I had lunch and dinner outside. I had no intentions of having anything at the hotel because that will mean that I need to come back in the hotel at a certain time. The transportation system itself, it was so easy to get on. The local bus is actually going up and down. There are many of them. I gotten into one whenever I needed to go somewhere or into a train. All that you need to do is just to use your Google Maps or your maps on the iPhone. Just type the place you want to go to. You can type that in English. Basically, it will show you whether it's a bus or a train. All you need to do is to use the cash. If you're visiting for a short time, you can just use the cash, but if you're here to stay long, it's advisable that you have a card. So I used the bus wherever I went, and it was so easy to use. All the trains that I used as well, they were super easy to use. Wherever I went, basically, I did not even need a local taxi, or I did not need any expensive anything. I just used the local bus and it was cheap. This is a train to go to the airport. If you are leaving from Kyoto Station, it's called the Haruka. It's basically an express train that takes you straight to the airport in Osaka. I wanted to take this train and go straight to the airport because my other plan was that I wanted to see Osaka. I wanted to spend my last days in Osaka, but I firstly need to go to the airport because I booked my accommodation near the airport, and I'm going there to go check in and drop in my bag. And when I'm done, I will go back to Osaka in the middle of town and just see, because I needed to see a couple of places. As I said, before I came to Japan, basically, I came here on a mission. My mission was to come here and do my own research. As I said, this is very advisable to anybody who wants to go visit any country, or not visit any country, to anybody who wants to relocate or move permanently to any country. I would advise at least one adult in your family, or even if you're coming alone, just come here for a holiday or so. I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Please make time, go to that country yourself, just do some tourist activities, just walk around the place, just get to see some of the things for yourself, because while you're in the process of decision making, this will help you a lot because it will give you the comfort that you need. So the reason why I came to Japan for the first 12 days, firstly, I was invited by my university, because I'm a self-funding student, to come and do the exam, the intake exams and the interview. And I wanted that opportunity because I wanted to see the place for myself. At this stage, I hadn't decided whether I wanted to come to Japan or not. I just wanted to see if I would be taken into the university, because I only applied for one university and we were weighing our options. We wanted to just see also what types of accommodation are we going to be willing to settle for. So on this assignment, my other reason for coming here was to just see the place, just go through the place and just see what kind of accommodations are we going to be choosing from, because from a distance we couldn't really have that picture. So yeah, I did come here, I did do my exams and my interview, and I was happy with what I've seen. I had enough pictures that I wanted to show the kids. They sent me on some assignments, they wanted to see certain things, and I had taken enough footage so that when we get home, whatever questions that they really wanted to know, because it's 3 children, they have different questions, and I wanted to answer all of them honestly and say, yeah, I did see that, this is how it looks like, and explain from my short visit what I've seen. But also for us as the adults in the family, me and my husband, we had a very tough decision to make between the cities. Which cities are we going to? And then at the end, we decided we were going to settle in Kansai, but we were not sure whether Osaka or Kyoto. So for me to visit this time, it was also to help both of us to just decide where are we going to be living. But beside the cities themselves or the prefectures, which is provinces, we also needed to decide on what kind of accommodation are we going to be settling for. For me to come to Kyoto and just to get to see the kind of accommodation options that we are going to be having, to jot them down and just visit them and get into each one of them, see them with my own physical eyes. I just did not take the footage for that, but just to see the different options that we have. It was for my family and I to be able to make a decision to say we are leaving our own home and we are going to be settling somewhere else for quite some time. Where are we going to be living? what kind of accommodation are we going to be settling in. So I wanted to take this time and explain this, and just to show you guys also in this train while I was on my way to the airport and to just go and see Osaka. It was still raining. Basically, what I did not know is that I came to Japan during the typhoon season. That's one element that I missed. So it was part of me making my own research, doing our own research as a family. But what I liked the most was that the people that came here in Japan already ahead of us, some of them that we contacted, they were able to explain a lot of things. So at this point, I am done dropping my bags, and I did come back to Osaka because I said I want to see Osaka, and I was shocked by the number of people that were going up and down. But I wanted to also buy some stuff, and also just to get to the shops also, which is something that I didn't have time to do in Kyoto because most of the times I was jet lagged. The other thing that is funny that I wanted to see was the stations during the peak hours, like how people were being pushed into the trains. I literally just went there and stopped there and just check what's going to happen when the next train comes. But yeah, there was some order there. People were not really pushed into the trains. They were walking into the trains. Or maybe it's because I arrived way too early. But yeah, what I've observed is that it was not something like what I've seen on the videos, on the YouTube videos when people were showing. But I got to realize that actually happens in Tokyo, not in Osaka, not in Kyoto. So yeah, I just wanted to see those kind of things. But yeah, I did then go see different types of accommodation as well in Osaka, and I got to just understand how the layout of Osaka, just walk around Osaka station, and I just got to walk around to the station, and I went to see some various shops because the children asked me to bring them some of the things. I was doing the videos for my children, and where possible they were video calling me, and I would show them whatever that they want to see while I'm here, because really our last born really can't wait for me to come back home. Yeah, the other reason that I said I wanted to also just walk around the shops and see if we were to furnish our accommodation and we needed to buy electronics, we needed to buy the fridge or the washing machine, what kind of monies are we really looking at? Like doing a proper research, taking pictures of the pricing and everything, so that when we go back and sit down and look into our savings, what kind of decisions are we going to make in terms of what are we going to be buying, what are we going to be using as a second hand, because we are only coming here for at least 3 years, not for more than that, at least at the beginning. That's what we thought. In terms of do your research tips, I would like to give you guys this few tips. Tip number 1, please consider visiting a country that you'd like to permanently move to, even if it's for 2 years or 3 years. If you do your own research, and part of your doing your own research is physically going there, even if it's just for a week or for a few days, it will give you a true reflection of what to expect when you get on the other side, and also just to help you with the decision making, because you can't just be making decisions on some things that you don't know. For me, whether I was going to be invited for the interview or to come and write my intake test at my university, that was part of our plan, that one of us would need to go there really, because we never previously moved permanently abroad. We always visited many other countries, even if it's for a month or 2 months. It was just for tourist purposes. It was not just to go and live there. And because we are moving with our children, we needed to make some checks and satisfy ourselves in terms of what kind of accommodations, what kind of transport are we gonna be using, if the public transport system is reliable, because we also need to make sure that whatever we commit ourselves into, we are going to be able to sustain our lives. We are not going to just uproot our families and come here to Japan and come 3 months later or so we want to go back, because our savings could not even carry us up to a certain level. One of us was going to be unemployed. It was obvious that one of us was going to be unemployed and we needed to survive on one salary and be on the scholarship money. So it's I really highly recommend that whoever is considering moving to any country, it will benefit you if you just come and see that country by yourself. So I was done in Japan. I saw the places that I needed to see, and by the time I decided to go back to the airport and to spend the night at the hotel and also get to see the airport itself, because I hadn't really had much time to just see the Kansai airport. I then did walk around the airport and saw the airport and walked through many levels of the airport itself and went to the mall and had some dinner there. As I catch my flight back home, I wanted to reflect on the 3 main important things, or even 4 if I get to list all of them. Basically, what I wanted to appreciate is how my interview went, how I woke up, and I felt so much prepared for it. I thank God that by the time I did the interview with the panel of 5, I was looking better than what I looked in the morning. But what I want to appreciate is my 3 best friends. They kept in touch with me the entire time I was in Japan. It was night on my side, it was day on their side. They never stopped calling me, they never stopped video calling me. They really kept me entertained. And my husband on the other side, he was with me on the calls. He was checking on me. And that's the nice ramen that I enjoyed before I left Japan. And yeah, so as I said, the flight was not really full. And on my way back home, I had the entire row of 6. If I remember very well, I think the entire row of 6 seats on the 3 seats on the left, 3 seats on the right, all to myself. And the flight, I really did not need any first class ticket from Kansai to Dubai. I really had all the space that I needed. The food that I got to choose prior me flying, they were really nice. It was just a nice meal, and the meals kept coming. What I like about Emirates is if you are hungry, don't be shy to ask them to give you food, because the flights are not even full, but they have enough food. So yeah, I traveled safely to South Africa, and reflecting on the journey, I thank God that I did that, because I wasn't going to have a clear understanding of many other things had I not decided to come in person and see how it looks like in Japan. So by the time I moved from Dubai to South Africa, I had already had about the very same time, about 3 hours or so of layover. It was not enough time as well. I just had enough time to freshen up. This time I did go and take a shower in Dubai. I did go pay for that shower and freshened up because I was really tired. I just gotten used to the time in Japan, and now I need to go back to the time in South Africa. As you can see, it was night in Japan and I was flying into the day, because South Africa is 7 hours behind Japan. So it was quite a long journey home, but I thank God for his mercies for this journey, and I had enough time. Thank you for watching this episode.